doing what you believe is a radical act, especially by like a minority. Being happy to be yourself can be like very strong and powerful. And I think people feel like they need to repress themselves in a lot of ways. And for me, New York was a place that I felt like no matter what, I could do whatever I wanted. And I felt like strong and powerful within that.
Caught up in lies your world used to give me. I let that go.
I'm Jimi Lucid. I'm a musician and artist from Washington, D.C., based in New York. I just was always in love with the city in general. It seemed like the only place that I could be myself. I just love being able to be like very weird and like no one really gives a fuck. The thing that made me like come into myself was kind of realizing that that kind of weirdness has historical context. I used to be in the choir, and I remember when we learned about like Little Richard and then like Hendrix, Prince, and then I was like, this exists, you know what I mean? Learning about that really gave me context about respecting the lineage of that weirdness and culture of just being yourself in the Black community. It's always been a part of our history. People of color are multifaceted and can do things outside of what society believes that we can. And I think we've proven that. I think in general, New York tests you in a lot of ways. It's very expensive to live here. It's a privilege to be able to like make work here. But I feel like although it's hard, it's addictive and it makes you, I feel like for me personally, it made me a better artist. Coming to the city, it is very welcoming, but I feel like to find your people, it takes some time. I spent like the first couple months not really knowing what was happening in the city, trying to figure out who I vibed with, who I connected with. For me, a huge thing that taught me the importance of community. When I first moved here, I was kind of like a loner, was this one collective called Bufu, which is a collective of femme and queer people of color who started throwing these parties, events, talks, and this kind of thing. And for me, that was really powerful. So I would go out, I would club with them, then we go to like a talk about talks of masculinity or even like meditation class or something like that. I don't know. I feel like those communities I found of POC people and artists, once I got into that through Bufu, I started seeing how much stuff there was. And it's kind of crazy. I feel like there isn't a lack of community or tribes, but I feel like our generation, we don't feel connected. So I think it's important to find that place where you can be truly free, even if it's only for like a moment. And I think that type of space is what I strive for creatively, and also think as a person of color, that's something that I want.
They say, wishing to die, never again.
It seemed like it was an impossible thing just for me moving here, not knowing anybody, not knowing how to produce, not really being good at writing, not having a musical background. And for me, I made a decision where I was just like, I want to learn how to do these things. It's kind of like an obsession. So it's like, there's no other option. That for me, that was really important. There's no other option in my mind. This has to work, it has to happen. Every little thing adds up over the years to the point where I'm doing something with Doc Martens, and like, that, to me that's crazy. Like when I first moved here, I was trying to afford a pair of Doc Martens. Like looking at them, just like, damn bro, those are fire. To the point where I'm getting shoes and playing with them, sponsored show. To me, that's really amazing. And I think it's like evidence to the fact that if you just follow your voice, the world kind of helps you.
You are